Hello, my name is Andreas Brückel. I'm the lead colorist of Imagica Southeast Asia and Pinewood Studios Malaysia. So I would like to share some techniques that I recently used on a feature film and discovered while grading it to mix different RRTs together in a ACES workflow. So ACES, it's not very easy to understand, especially when you come from a telecine background and you're used to video grades. So at the moment there are a lot of information, mostly on the technical side, on the engineer side, but not so much out of a colorist's perspective, and I would like to share my experience. First of all, I'm working in Rec 709, so my viewing color space is Rec 709. The IDT is set by Baselight, usually automatically. This footage is from a feature film I recently worked on called Radar. It's about an autistic child, and this last clip is from a camera workshop. It is in log C. Everything else, Radar, was shot in RE RAW in 4K. Good. To get the camera into ACES, you need an IDT, and that's a good thing about Baselight. You don't really have to deal with it because Baselight is recognizing, okay, this is RE RAW, so automatically it takes it into ACES with the right transform. Go to the log C footage. It discovers, okay, this is RE log C. You can choose also every other color space, but so the IDT is something Baselight takes care for you. And I get a warning which tells me you work in ACES, Cine log at the moment, but you don't have a DRT. So what is the DRT? Let's get into this. Here are my scene settings. Okay, my working color space is Cine log, and I'm here in from stack, which means actually I'm in ACES. And now I have to use or choose a display render transform. Okay, there are a couple of. If you're new with ACES and come from a telecine background, it's probably the easiest to use TrueLight Video 1. So that's a special RRT designed from Filmlight, and it's, let's say, a little bit more lifted. Let's go into it. Than the other ones, cleaner colors, and makes it easier as a starting point. You can also use the RRT 0.7. But you see it's already quite contrasty, quite dense, and makes it a little bit harder to start with. So let's go on another. Whenever you use a RRT and you have to use one, you start already quite contrasty. Okay, this compared to the RRT 0.7, you see automatically we're getting a little bit more dense, especially in the midtones. Go back to TrueLight Video 1, and if you look here at the cheeks, and with 0.7 we are very dense, so which is nice, looks very filmic. And that's the cool thing about ACES, because ACES is designed to behave and to look like film, and that's one thing my DOPs mention over and over again, that nowadays everything looks too clean. So I think ACES is the answer for this. This doesn't look clean for me, this looks like film. Good. Anyway, I used TrueLight Video 1 for this film, and there's a reason, because before I start a new project in ACES, I do a lot of testing. I checked all the different RRTs. TrueLight Video gives me a bit brighter, cleaner starting point. Okay, but that's my choice. I could also start with RRT 0.7. What you can't do, let's say I put a simple grade on this one, choose my exposure, take a little bit out of contrast, whatever, and saturation like this, and then you change the RRT to something else. So this will not work because your RRT is a starting point. You shouldn't change your RRT in between the grading or after the grading. Not at all. That's why you should choose carefully in the beginning your RRT. So if someone asks me what is a RRT, and I don't would use a technical term, I would say it's like film stock. I choose my different kind of film stock here, and that's where a lot of colorists struggle in the beginning because it's too contrasty, too saturated. So usually you take your exposure maybe a little bit up or your contrast down to make it a little bit more like log as a starting point. Here we go. Okay, so again we are on now True Light Video, and that's my starting point as a look. Okay, and now comes the thing that I want to show you. So I have my layer 1, which is my grading, and let's say in layer 2 I want to mix it with another RRT. Yes, before I said don't change the RRT, but I'm not changing it, I'm using it as an additional character that I'm mixing in. So on layer 2 I take one of the operators, doesn't matter which one of these, and change the operator to color space. So if you're not familiar with color space, it has two meanings. You can identify your color space, so the color space tells me I'm working at the moment in Cineon log. Well, very nice. And you can convert your color space. So conversion means everything after this layer 2 from this point on is in a new color space. And it makes sense to change it to your viewing color space. Let's do it. Rec 709, and nothing changed. Let's go back. No conversion. See, the picture didn't change. The reason is we are still using the same RRT. And we are using the same viewing display color space as before. So let's go back to Rec 709. And now I will switch it, for example, to 1.0. Let's get another one. I think this picture is quite good for this. Layer 1 is my grade. Layer 2, I change the operator. You can of course copy and paste it, but I want to show you how it works again. And let's go to Rec 709, and you can see it especially here in the midtones. It's quite dense. And now I'm mixing it back to video or to the RRT 0.7. When you check the signal, actually not the shadows and highlights that changes so much. Most of the changes are in the midtones. And I tried to get the same result with a grade. It's very difficult. So that's a very fast, simple way. And especially on the blackboard, you can do this quite easily. So you could even say, okay, I want the RT only in this area. Then you just key it and use the blend mode for blend. One thing is very important. You can't use an additional grading operator on this layer. This doesn't work. And I discovered it when I rendered my footage, and it looked different because I used the film grade in the same layer as the color space. So when you want to use it, make an additional layer and then grade from here. That's quite important. By the way, now I would like to show you why I use Cineon log and not the recommended ACES CC-AP1, because I discovered sometimes, especially if you go a little bit more extreme in your grade, maybe in a saturation, you get these dropouts. I would use ACES for everything that's high dynamic range, like AVI RAW, like log C is also okay, red footage, F55 footage, that's no problem. If you go and have a lot of broadcast footage, ACES is maybe not the right tool. Okay, anyway, let's go back here. Another layer. Let's do the same thing again. I'm on layer 2, change the operator to the color space and my viewing space, which is Rec 709. Here we go. And my RRT to, for example, 0.7. So I was too saturated before. Let's take this down. And then let's blend it together. So, and if I want to grade on top of this, I use another layer and maybe take the exposure a bit more down. Still, you don't lose anything. It's ACES. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will release another one very soon about ACES itself. Again, not out of an engineer's perspective, but more how I as a colorist deal with ACES. And I wish you a lot of fun with this new technique if you didn't know it before, and happy grading.